Welcome, English learners, to English Class channel. Reading Comprehension. The Arctic.
Struggling with reading comprehension? In this video, we'll help English learners develop the skills needed to understand passages more easily by expanding your vocabulary and training your brain to process information as you read. You'll improve comprehension and make reading more enjoyable. Perfect for students, language learners, or anyone looking to strengthen their reading skills. Instructions. Pause the video whenever necessary to review or understand key points. Adjust the playback speed to a pace that's comfortable for you. Take notes to expand your vocabulary range. Rewatch the video as often as possible to improve your reading skills. Listen to my reading, try shadowing along, and then practice reading it out loud on your own.
Section 1. The Arctic is the area around the Earth's North Pole. It includes parts of Russia, Alaska, Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Lapland, and Svalbard. It is an ocean, mostly covered with ice. The word Arctic comes from a Greek word meaning bear. The North Pole aims at the stars, called the Great Bear and the Little Bear. Most scientists call the area north of the tree line Arctic. Across the world, trees cannot grow in places that are too high and are too cold. Above the tree line, trees cannot survive. Forests on several continents have regions north of the tree line. These areas are part of the Arctic. The area north of the tree line is not an empty ice field. In fact, the only large ice-covered land in the Arctic is central Greenland, which is covered year-round by a continental glacier. Section 2. Tundra. The land of the Arctic, located around the edges of the Arctic Circle, is mostly tundra. A tundra is a cold, almost treeless plain covered with moss and sedges, grass-like plants. Tundras get little rain or snow during Arctic summers. There are nights when the sun never sets. This happens because the North Pole points toward the sun during summertime. For this reason, people sometimes call the Arctic the land of the midnight sun. Section 3. Permafrost. Though they get little precipitation, Tundras can get very wet during the summertime. In warmer temperatures, the snow on the ground melts. However, there is a permanent layer of ice called permafrost under the ground. Permafrost can be thousands of miles thick and is rock hard, so melting snow cannot soak into it. As a result, water can only form lakes and puddles on top of the ground until it freezes again or dries up. Plant life. In some parts of the Arctic, the ground is covered with bright colored flowers during the short summer. These little plants have very short stems. They must stay close to the ground because the earth is warmer than the cold winds that blow above it. Even some rocks have plants growing on them. These plants are called lichens and they grow on bare rocks. The Arctic reindeer's summer food, which is called yellow reindeer moss, is actually a lichen. It grows slowly but can eventually grow to be 6 inches tall, 15 centimeters, or higher. It is spongy and full of water. Trees are rare on the tundra. Small trees are only able to grow in protected valleys or along the banks of rivers. Rivers come into the Arctic from the warmer south, so their banks are a little warmer than the rest of tundra, warm enough for trees to grow there. Outside of these areas, there are rare clusters of bushes. Berries are the only fruits that grow in the Arctic. As ice and snow on the ground's surface melt during the summer, plants are able to flower and animals are able to find food. Because of the permafrost, melted snow stays near the top of the ground's surface. Plant roots can use this water for their growth. Section 4. Polar bears. The polar bear is the world's largest meat-eating land animal. They are excellent swimmers, and even the coldest water on the earth does not bother them. Polar bears have an excellent sense of smell, which they use to find prey. They prefer to eat seals and walruses, but most often they eat fish, birds' eggs, seaweed, and dead whales. They get most of their food on pack ice. Polar bears have to eat and store fat before the ice is gone. They cannot catch seals in open water. However, they are well adapted to hunt seals out on the ice. If they smell a seal, they wait by breathing holes in the ice. They can also break through the ice where it is thin. Sometimes they can also sleep up on a sleeping seals. After mating, female polar bears dig themselves into a den of snow on land for the rest of the winter. There they have their cubs, usually twins. Arctic foxes. Arctic foxes often follow bears out onto the ice to eat their leftover food. They also eat rabbits as well as the rodents of the Arctic, lemmings and voles. Birds and insects. In summer, many birds visit the Arctic. Most of them are water birds, such as geese, ducks, swans, loons, and Arctic terns, flying in for the summer. They raise their young and return south for the winter. Unlike other Arctic birds, the snowy owl and the ptarmigan stay all year. They are well adapted for the snow. The snowy owl's color matches the snow. Meanwhile, the ptarmigan's summer plumage changes to white when it gets colder. The smallest animals of the Arctic are the flies and the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes. Thick swarms bite both men and animals. In the summer, the reindeer try to escape the mosquitoes by running to higher pastures. But the only real help comes with the snow and cold, when the small swarms die off for another season. Section 5. Human life. Many people live in the Arctic. Some groups have lived there for thousands of years. For example, Eskimo and Lap people lived in the Arctic long before electric heaters, snowmobiles, and modern houses. The Lapps, in an extremely northern part of Europe, there is a place called Lapland. It is not a country, but parts of 4 countries. The people who live there are called Lapps by outsiders. They call themselves Sami. The Lapps of these 4 countries lived there long before the countries of Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia were created. There were several kinds of Lapp people. Some lived by the ocean and lived mostly on fish Another group lived along the warmer rivers. These people did a little farming, hunting, and fishing to live. But the best known of the Lapp people were the nomads who raised reindeer. The Lapps survived in their harsh homeland by domesticating the reindeer. The Lapps were able to get everything they needed from the deer. They ate mostly meat, milk, and cheese. Their clothes were made from reindeer skins and wool. Their tents were also made from deer skins. They are known for the beautiful decorated woolen clothing they made. Section 6. Eskimo. Eskimo are Arctic people too. They sometimes ate raw meat. Eskimo were also nomads, but they did not have any animals except for dogs, which they used for pulling their sleds and helping them hunt. They were hunters and gatherers, and they lived off on whatever they found or killed. Like the Lapps, though they were very careful to make good use of every part of the animals they killed. Eskimo lived in tents during the summer and sod houses or igloos in the winter. The Eskimo made very clever things from the bones, antlers, and wood they had. They built different kinds of boats. Eskimo did not have a government or laws. They learned early in life to help each other to survive, always sharing food. They usually moved around in small groups looking for food. Sometimes they'd get together in a large group when they hunted big animals, such as whales. The men did the hunting and building the homes, and the women cooked, made the clothes, and took care of the children. Section 7. The Arctic today. The Arctic region has many minerals that are important to people. Iron, lead, coal, copper, gold, and tin are all mined in different parts of this cold land. Land amounts of petroleum have been discovered in the Arctic in Russia, Alaska, and Canada. People live and work in the Arctic to remove these valuable minerals and sell them. Airplane routes. The Arctic is also the shortest way, Great Circle Route, for airlines to fly between some cities on different continents. The flight from London to Tokyo, for example, is 1,400 miles shorter if flown across the top of the world instead of the old route, south across Europe and Asia. The polar route from San Francisco to Norway is several hours shorter than the same flight going across the United States and the Pacific Ocean. Thus, man is making use of the Arctic in various ways, even though it is a hard place to live. Don't forget to subscribe to English Crowns channel. If you enjoyed this video, you definitely enjoyed this one. Keep reading and see you in the next video.